Guys, Coach Kurt. So this is Pepper Spray 101. It's going to be more generic than I've done one or two other videos about pepper spray. They were definitely law enforcement oriented. This is also going to be some generic information for civilians. About half of my subscribers are civilians. So I don't suggest that pepper spray replaces firearms. I don't suggest that pepper spray eliminates your need to study weaponless defense like control tactics, self-defense related martial arts like judo, jiu-jitsu, MMA. But don't forget situational awareness. Here I got the color code of mental awareness. Super important to be aware of your surroundings and not putting yourself in bad positions to begin with. Pepper spray is a great supplemental tool to your other skills. It's actually my favorite law enforcement tool, and it comes in different shapes and sizes. What I recommend at the end of the day for civilians is find a good quality law enforcement grade brand. Don't get sucked into the fact that they say that it's a law enforcement grade, and don't get sucked into the fact that it says, oh, this is 10% versus 20% OC or ingredients. It's the quality of ingredients, not the amount of ingredients. So I recommend Sabre and Fox. Those are the two brands that I've used the most, but there are a bunch of quality law enforcement grade tools or OC on the market. Just do your research. Don't just grab the first thing off of Amazon. It's important to know certain things about OC. You need to know what you're legally able to do in your area for self-defense. Generally speaking, as civilians, your first obligation is to flee if you can. Now, see on the screen those tiny little keychain or pocket-sized OCs. I do not recommend those type of OCs. It's not that they can't work or don't work. It's just I don't know, just not big enough to get the job done in a lot of cases. Someone's going to argue with me, well, you're only supposed to spray for a few seconds per spray anyway. I agree, but I just don't trust those little tiny sprays. Plus, they'll get lost in your pocket or your purse. You see a flip top on the screen right now. I recommend, I can't talk today, that whatever brand you get, that you go with the flip top for general purpose daily self-defense, like if this is in your pocket or in your purse. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. I carry a firearm off duty because I'm a cop, but I also recommend that Joe Citizen exercise their Second Amendment rights. But training is super important, and other avenues. If you can't run and you have to defend yourself, maybe it's not a deadly force encounter and you shouldn't or couldn't or can't use your firearm, and you don't have good martial arts skills. Well, pepper spray is another option that's below deadly force. Your use of force has to be reasonable, and pulling your firearm is not always reasonable. Now, you see on screen home defense. I'm not suggesting for a second that pepper spray isn't good for home defense. It can be. And it comes in streams. It comes in fog/cones/ gel. Generally speaking, I'm not a big fan of gel, and that's because first 5 years of my 25 year of law enforcement was in corrections. And there's institutions that started using gel because it sounds great on paper, because there's less secondary contamination. I mean, pepper spray can hover and float, and secondary contamination to officers or yourself. And gel sounds great to eliminate that, except that inmates were wiping it off their face and flinging it at the officers. That's not to say that is going to happen in a home invasion or home self-defense situation, but if you got like 2, 3, 4 big guys storming your house in a home invasion, the last thing you want to use is just pepper spray. There's a good argument for an AR-15 right there. If you're an 8-month pregnant woman and 2 guys break in your house with sledge or baseball bats and crowbars, you'd rather just shoot them with an AR. It's a great equalizer. But back to pepper spray. See how they have flip tops and clips. If you're going to go for a walk or a jog, something like this is good. We're going to cover bear spray in this video. And it's not that you can't use bear spray on people. And bear spray is pepper spray. It's just usually comes in a much larger container, and it comes in an extreme high pressure fog So it's easier to hit a charging bear in theory or a cougar, because that's how this video came up. I had a civilian woman ask me about a problem she's having with a cougar near her house, where it's actually putting it put a dead deer up in her tree. That's a danger sign right there, because that's its food source, and it's going to be pretty pissy if it thinks you're interfering with its food source. And I'll throw a clip of a cougar attack, how the guy was able to just keep backing away and yelling at the cougar, and luckily for him, it didn't attack. Guys, cougar attacks and bear attacks, for that matter, are extremely rare. They do happen. But you see here on the screen, bear spray being used, how much of a fog it is. That's great for self-defense scenarios, not only against animals, but people. In law enforcement, you use a stream because it's more accurate and less chance of contamination. Now, here's that cougar attack I'm talking about. If I gather correctly, he accidentally stumbled upon this cougar with its cubs, and it's a mama cougar being very pissy and defensive because he came too close. He scrambles at him a couple times, gets pretty close. He postures up, or she postures up quite a bit. If she wanted to attack him and like eat his soul, she would have. I think she was just like, get the hell away from me and my cubs. He did not have a firearm. He did not have bear spray. I recommend to anyone that's doing any hiking or mountain biking outdoors to do that.
Now, there are two ranges you need to be concerned about. Right up on their chisnet, right in their business, you're safe here. You're definitely not safe in this range. This is the punching range. Or you're safe way out of that range. So let me introduce you to my little friend.
Say hello to my little friend.
Pepper spray. It is way underutilized in law enforcement today. Now, I know I've put out videos where a guy is like spraying the crap out of the bad guy and it's not working. He's wiping it off and he's attacking and the other all the time and can't get any swipes in, and it looked like a monkey screwing a football and it was a complete fiasco. If you don't know which video I'm talking about, contact me and I will send you a link or what have you, or you can scroll through my past videos. I'm not saying that tools are bad. They're good. But maybe it's because I grew up in corrections. First 5 years of my career was in corrections, where pretty much all we used other than our fists when we had to was pepper spray. Because a lot of times in corrections, whenever possible, we would try to engineer the contact. For example, cell extractions, what have you. And we use pepper spray. Now, since this is a conversation about pepper spray, I'm not going to get into percentages and all that kind of stuff. That's boring. And all that information is on the internet. There are basically two sizes that you should consider usable for everyday use. I'm talking not just for police, but for civilians. There are some quality brands out there. I'm a big fan of Fox and Sabre. Those are the two brands that I endorse. There's other good brands. It's just that from personal experience, I use Fox and I use Sabre. Right now, I pretty much use Fox. They're both great brands. So generally speaking, just like firearms, you buy a good quality law enforcement grade brand. That's what I'm saying. You've got this small container right here, which is what you'll see me carrying on my belt on duty. Females, you can put this in your purse. Males, you can put this in a pocket. Off duty, I carry one in my pocket. And it's, I wear Dockers or whatever, you can't tell. Perfectly good size. Or maybe the step up. It's about twice the size, 4 ounces, and it's like 2 ounces. Guys, those little keychain models, if you're a civilian, don't ever get that. Those are crap. You are going to want the flip top for security. And I'm a big fan of the stream. We've talked about this before, where the stream is more pinpoint. I guess if you're a civilian, the fog isn't bad, but there's secondary contamination. There's more of that going out. If you're a police officer, it's more of an issue than if you're a civilian. But I'm a big fan of the stream. A quality name brand such as Fox or Sabre, and the stream. And you want a water-based carrier, because otherwise it can be flammable. If you go to Taser's website, they have a list, or maybe back in the day they did. I don't know. I haven't been to the website forever. Back in the day, you could get a list of approved products. But generally speaking, it will tell you that it's water-based or non-flammable on the label. And that's what you want to go with. That's more of a law enforcement thing because then you end up, using your taser on somebody and there might be a spark and cause a flame. I worked at a prison where that happened, where the product was mislabeled and the inmate caught on fire for a few seconds, and it was chaos. But it definitely had the mental effect on the inmate. He was freaking out. Back to this pepper spray, guys. What I'm saying, what is so great is you don't have to be a ninja. You can be in that safe range from out here and spray somebody and not have to be anywhere near them to make that contact. For example, I'm like, sir, you're under arrest. You need to turn around, put your hands behind your back. He says, screw you. You're like, last chance to do it. He starts stepping towards you. You spray him in the face. There's patterns and everything instructors teach, guys. All that is BS. Just douse the face for a few seconds. Back in the day when I first started in law enforcement, we didn't have pepper spray. We used mace. And then I used to teach, or they taught us, you spray to the shirt and then rise up, because then the fumes of the mace would continue to rise in their face. Guys, this is not a chemical product. It's capsicum, which is natural product. Peppers, basically, hot peppers. Capsicum. I never pronounce it right. You get the idea. Look it up on Google. So get back. I'm in a same kind of stance I would be if I was drawing any other weapon. I put this hand up here as kind of a shield in case there's a little breeze. I'm always wearing glasses on the job anyway, but that's just me. I recommend that you wear safety glasses on the job, especially since I had my eye injury. I'm way more freaky about that stuff. But back to the pepper spray. Stop, get back, spray the face, and redirect. Move yourself, move your ass, because according to the Department of Justice for the state of California, 89% of society is affected. Now, guys, 85% or 89%, excuse me, is a damn good percentage. It's better than the taser use, and it's actually better than firearms. Problem is, affected to what degree? I've seen pepper spray kick in almost instantly where the person's like, and they're freaking out and they don't like it. And I've had people like, oh, now I'm pissed. And it's really bothering them and they're doing this kind of stuff, but they can still kind of fight. So what I recommend is to spray and then move. Maybe pull out your baton then. And it's like, get on the ground. And they turn and come at you. Maybe you strike them. Maybe you're like, I said, get on the ground. You're keeping your distance from them and angling. Just like when you fire on a shoot, move, communicate. You're doing the same thing with your pepper spray. Spray and move. Now, guys, spray the guy once for a few seconds. This one's already almost out. This is an inert model. And then that's it. A bad guy, if it's not going to kick in the first 10 seconds, it's probably not having the effect you want to have. It's an undesirable effect, unfortunately. It just doesn't always work. It usually always works to some degree. To what degree, I don't know. That's individual. I've seen inmates back in the day that would just like, yeah, no problem. I put that stuff on my food. Bring it, And others freaking out. Every time we trained back in the day, we were sprayed. When I went to the academy, we were sprayed. And then you had to make an arrest. Well, sprayed, fighting a guy in a red man suit, putting cuffs on him. And that's so you know how you are affected. It's really important to know how you were affected to it. It's just why in law enforcement, if you carry a taser, at least back in the day, you would get tased. Not so many agencies do that anymore. Anyway, spray, drop the can, and move. Reassess. If he's turning towards you and recalculating the situation, maybe like I said, get down. If it's like he turns toward you and starts coming up with those assault indicators, or saying something like, I'm going to kick your ass, or I'm going to kill you, or I'm not going to jail, or whatever the pre-assault indicators are. Maybe he's got a weapon, and at the very least, you've got weapons, though there are other weapons on scene. So you don't want him to be in touching range unless you have calculated that move. Like, I have to arrest him, so I have to move in and get to him. Guys, like I said, this is a safe range as you're entering. And this is the safe range. Clinch range is super safe. Now, you got to train the clinch range. This is why I emphasize, guys, the pummeling and the clinch is so damn important, because when I'm in clinch range, all my tools are now in clinch range too. So, guys, I guess at the end of the day, what I'm saying is don't forget your great tools. Don't overuse them. I know that in my videos previously, I talked smack about some of the tools only because they're being overused in law enforcement. And it bothers me. And please don't forget your pepper spray. It is my favorite tool of all the cool tools we have. Other than your brain and your gift of gab, this is a phenomenal tool for law enforcement. Guys, if you have any questions, contact me. Again, don't forget about the awesome tools we have. Just don't overuse them, and definitely don't underuse them. And at the end of the day, reevaluate the pepper spray. It is an amazing tool. All right, guys, take care and stay safe.
Let's roll. Hey, let's be careful out.